Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel is an adventure book that took inspiration from a bunch of different cultures. Hello, and welcome to the Fancy Dungeon, where we'll be taking a look at the miniature set released showing the monsters from this book. Journey Through the Radiant Citadel has a lot of new monsters and ideas we have not yet seen in 5th edition, so let's get started showing off these new creatures. First off, we will start with the Windling. These adorable little fey creatures bring all the stereotypical mischief and mayhem you'd expect, stealing and pranking travelers who happen upon their territory, almost never engaging trespassers directly. This is overall a very nice mini. Sadly, I don't see a lot of scenarios where it could be used due to their mischievous nature and avoidance for confrontation. If I was going to run these critters, it would almost certainly not be a combat encounter, as Windland swooping in and stealing equipment would be very difficult to run in a non-frustrating way for the players, and would certainly need more than the one Windling that came with this set. So overall, a nice mini, but not one I'd expect a DM to get much use out of. The Delacatee Colo is a CR5 fiend appearing like a disease-stricken bipedal owl, infecting its prey with sickness before devouring them. This disease is suppressed by sunlight, allowing for its victims to spend their last day before succumbing to it once nightfall hits. This miniature is unique and should be fairly easy to include in any campaign as an enemy. Given the challenge rating of this creature, the player's level should be high enough that the infection isn't too deadly and difficult for them to deal with, but also keep in mind the drama it could instill in the players if they do not have easy access to lesser registration. Overall, I'd rate this creature and mini very highly, as I could see a DM getting quite a bit of use out of this one. The Armvorax Den Leader is a CR4 monstrosity that feasts upon various types of metal, particularly liking the taste of gold. This 8-legged badger-like creature has fur with a golden sheen due to the metal it consumes. The miniature that comes with this set is a Den Leader, which is larger than the traditional Armvorax, making this creature medium-sized instead of the default small. I will say it is unfortunate this set did not include a normal Armvorax, as it is weird to run a Den Leader without any of its den. Overall, I do like this miniature, but if I was going to run this creature, I'd either want more of these and have a pack of them, or I'd modify the stat block that was provided to make it more interesting as a solo monster encounter. So, good, but I'd probably modify this stat block in some way to make it better as a solo encounter. Riverine are embodiments of particular rivers. These creatures take shape to interact with those who travel along them. Riverine often are worshipped by those living nearby, causing temples to be built in their honor. These fake creatures can be used in a variety of campaigns, and this particular miniature could very easily be reflavored into many different concepts you have for your current campaign. Although I will say, I feel like a little more detail could have gone into the paint job, the sculpt is very nice. I can see a lot of situations where this miniature could be used, which is good given the price of this monster set. Pari are celestial harbingers of doom with their angelic ability of foresight. These challenge rating 13 celestials boast an amazing design that really makes me want to introduce one to my game. I will say the book really leaves a lot to be desired in terms of lore for these guys, only really mentioning their ability to see the future, but I guess that's enough to flesh out an interesting story to tell with these. In the Shadow of the Sun adventure included in the book, they do an interesting concept that I will do a follow-up video on, writing out a fleshed out adventure hook that you can introduce into your game. But for now, I really do like the concept and design of the creature. For a Celestial, I can definitely see a few ways that a normally good party could come face to face with one of these. Haints are spirits that met an untimely demise. These undead have the interesting ability to appear as the person they once were, allowing them to pass amongst the living to enact whichever deed of revenge they wish. Sadly for them, they are often confused and mistakenly enact revenge on the wrong people. I will say this miniature is pretty useful as it fills in for quite a few different spectral undead that you could use in your campaign. Ooh, a Far Realms creature, which are often too far and few between, so the fact we got one here is pretty interesting. This is the Whistler, a creepy and deadly entity from the furthest reaches of the realms. Their movement rapid and unstable, making their image impossible to make out while they still breathe. Fantastically creepy. These stalkers hunt their victims with a 7-tone whistle that gets branded into their very mind. This miniature attempts to capture motion in its design, which is not something I've seen in another miniature. I will say my major gripe with this miniature is that all the encounters in the book need 2 whistlers, which makes just buying this box set and trying to run the adventure kinda disappointing. You can of course buy another separately online, but you probably shouldn't need to. The Whistler is very cool, and you could just modify the current stat block to make it more threatening than just buying another Whistler to run the adventurer as written. Overall, I do like this creature's unique design and gimmick, as if you run it right, it will be certain that your players remember it. The Slottle are molten axolotl that slumber in volcanoes for centuries, for when they awaken they consume massive amounts of plant and animal life from the nearby ecosystem before returning to their peaceful coma. That is, of course, unless someone happens upon a sleeping Slottle and wake it sooner. That can cause it to go on a rampage, destroying everything in its wake. This elemental boasts troll-like regeneration disabled by the cold, and a powerful eruption attack. I don't have much to say about this miniature other than it gets the job done, but I do like this creature a lot, so stay tuned at the end of the video for how I'd run the Slottle. That is the end of this pre-painted monster set. I will say I'm a little disappointed this set didn't include a Soul Shaker mini, but they did provide a lot of the unique creatures from Journey Through the Radiant Citadel, which now have miniatures associated with them. I personally picked this up for $80 and that feels a little steep, so if you can pick this up on sale I'd recommend it. Now, I'm going to do a few follow-up videos just showcasing how you can get the most out of these monsters, starting with the Slottle, which you can catch at the end of this one. But for the review, that's all, and thank you for visiting the Fancy Dungeon. I was going to include a section at the end of this video on how to run the Slottle, but that was taking significantly longer than I had expected, so expect a follow-up video on how to run this creature. But I will leave you with a brief trailer for the one-shot and deep dive that will be in the sequel to this video. Thanks for watching! Our heroes receive a letter on grave authority to report to a developing dwarven town, where they met with an older dwarf who speaks to them solemnly. Welcome, brave souls called to our aid. I speak now of dark tidings that stir beneath the stone. For generations our clan has dwelt in the heart of Mount Varrock, its protectors. But recently, a force, as old as the mountain itself, has awoken, stirred by deeds unknown. We've unearthed something, not of this world, powerful and untamed as the mountain's very spirit. It threatens to consume us, desperation turning us against one another. The mountain, it groans in agony, warning us, for if the heart of Mount Varrock bursts, it could spell doom for us all. I beg upon thee, adventurers, no, heroes, for your help. Only with your aid may we yet quell this storm.